Wrap me in a bolt of lightning, send me on my way still smiling. Maybe that's the way I should go, straight into the mouth of the unknown. I left the spare key on the table, I never really thought I'd be able to say I merely visit on the weekends. I lost my whole life and a dear friend. I've said it so many times.
How did Kenny Clark look today?
Yeah, he was really limited, but you know, we're hopeful he'll be all right.
You've seen that Seattle defense, I'm sure, for quite a while now. Is this schematically, at least, mostly the same defenses they've been playing for years, or have they had to adapt with their personnel changes?
No, they're primarily, I'd say a lot of it, the foundation is there. They're doing a little bit different stuff in terms of just some of the non-normal matches. They'll leave their base defense out there, whether you're in 11 personnel or 10 personnel, and that's pretty unique. But the core 3 deep, 4 under is there, and they do play a little bit more 2 safety as well than probably in years past.
How well did their safeties, McDougal and Diggs, do in this Philly game? And does that defense ask more safeties? And plugging in Diggs, bringing him into the season, is that impressive on how they've coached those guys up?
Yeah, I think the safety position, when you look at the history of that defense, has been absolutely critical to how well they perform. And I thought both those guys played really, really well last week. I think they've played really well the entire season. And, but when you think about the guys that came before them with Earl and Cam, these guys are doing a great job.
Back to my question from a moment ago, are they sticking with the base defense, even with the changes at linebacker, where they went from Kendricks to Barton? Does that seem to not impact anything?
No, I mean, we'll find out what they do on Sunday, but I think this is something they've been doing the whole season, so I don't foresee it changing, but again, we'll have a plan in case they do.
What's the plan for Raven Green for the rest of this week and leading up to Sunday?
Yeah, just continue to evaluate him, and then if and when we feel he's ready, then we'll bring him up.
Now, what has Chandon Sullivan given you over the last several weeks?
Just a really versatile player that you can always count on. He is super consistent, and he not only helps us out on defense, but in special teams too. He's been a key contributor.
When it comes to leadership on your defense, obviously Z's the outgoing guy, the loud guy, but how integral is a quieter guy like Adrian Amos, a steady guy, for guys that may respond to different types of leadership?
I think you said it best right there. He's that steady, calm on the back end, and a veteran player. He's done so much for helping a guy like Darnell Savage. As well as Tremon's been a huge asset to that room as well. So just glad we got Adrian here.
Talked to a couple of players yesterday, about this week leading into a playoff, and they both talked about they've appreciated their work with Dr. Carr, Christopher Carr. Not only on game day every Monday, but those days leading up. As a coach, is that more growing importance, just getting players into a training room on exercises they can do to be the right frame of mind?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely critical. I think you see more and more teams putting more of their resources into guys like that. And Dr. Carr's been a huge asset for our guys. That the guys that use him have found him to be really helpful. And it's not only the players; he helps some of the coaches as well.
When it comes to playoff experience, is there any ignorance is bliss in terms of you got half your team, more than half your team has never played a game in the playoffs? Is there any upside to that, or is it mostly much rather have a bunch of experience?
I think that's a great question, because you're never quite sure how guys are going to respond, because there is a heightened intensity. There's no doubt about it. But I think the best thing that we can do as a team is just go as business as usual. And that's why our routine is so important, is to get these guys into the same frame of mind. And that's really to play every play to the best of their ability and take it one play at a time.
You're obviously very even-keeled, but you've never been in this position for a playoff game either, obviously. You've coached in a Super Bowl, so is that experience helpful to you, or is it different for you two?
No, you know what? I think it's just my mindset, and maybe I'll feel different in the moment. That's why until you go through it, you don't really know. But it's just another game, and it's a great challenge. There's no doubt about it. That this is a really good football team that's coming in here, and we've talked about it all week how they're 8-1 on the road. So we're going to have to play our best ball to come out on top.
After having the bye week, Matt, what was the padded practice like today? I mean, how were guys eager to get back in path and kind of hang around a little?
Yeah, I loved the intensity out there. I loved the focus. You can feel there's definitely a high level of focus amongst our guys right now. I think that's a lot of the veterans. You can tell that the younger guys are feeding off of them and just their intensity level and the approach. It's been great.
You guys have had so many games this year where you've started really fast, but obviously you're coming off of a bye, and all teams are different, but the bye teams that we've kind of seen around here in past years, it was a little tough to get going early on in those games for those teams. How do you guard against that? Are there things you can do to try and prevent that from being an issue?
I don't think you really know until you go out there, but certainly that's why you're always practicing. That's why we didn't want to give the guys too many days off. You can never replicate the competitiveness of what an actual game is like. But, I liked how we went about our business with that off week in terms of being in for a couple days, giving them off a couple days, then having 2 more days on the practice field, then 2 more days off. I thought it was just a good schedule for the guys not to get too far removed as opposed to like a typical bye week where we just kind of cut them loose for 6 days or whatever it is.
How do you treat a 5:40 p.m. game? I mean, have you ever, maybe going back to Atlanta, maybe you had a 5:40 game, but, it's different than a 7, right? And different than a 3:15.
It is a unique time. There's no doubt about it. And I put a lot of thought into just in terms of our schedule. I've talked to a lot of guys that have been in these positions before and how they've treated it. And then you just got to kind of talk to your veterans and come up with a good plan. I like what we have scheduled. But until you go through it, you really don't know.
How much will having Jamal back help you as a play caller in terms of your game plan here?
I think it's absolutely huge. Just number one, he's been such an important part to our offense all season long. Not only running the football, but being in there in some of those passing situations. He's a heck of a blocker, and we're going to need him. And he's going to get a lot of action this week.
Coach, Aaron Jones has stepped up a lot in big moments this season. What did you see from him when you guys have needed him the most?
Just what you said. He stepped up, and he did it last week. And we've got a lot of confidence in him. I think he's got a lot of confidence in what's going on out there. The other 10 guys that are out there with him, and we're going to need another great performance from him.
Is this when you start paying attention to the forecast, just because now we're saying Saturday night, maybe 6, 8, 10 inches of snow, who knows, Sunday, who knows what it's going to be like?
Yeah, I think you always have an eye on it, especially when you're, playing up here and what the conditions can be. I think it's helped us that we've kind of already gone through a little bit of a couple snow games. We had New York, we had Carolina here, a night game. So, we played through some elements. That's all right. That's all right. We'll let it go this time.
Speaking of other, do you feel like you have that well-rounded team that, if it's a nice day, you can play one way. If it's crap, you can play another way. You can lean on this phase, that phase.
Yeah, I to be honest with you, I don't. You always have to be ready to adjust in terms of if it's the conditions are such that it's so bad. It's usually more with your pass game than anything else. But I like that we have a veteran group, a veteran quarterback, a veteran offensive line that I feel like we can kind of go either way.
Matt, this is probably minutia until you have a guy slip and fall and have an interception go off of his face mask. But have you talked about the turf? And I don't think you can like force guys to wear different types of cleats, but how much emphasis is on that? Because the home field advantage is supposed to be a home field advantage, and there has been a lot of slippage by your guys this season on it.
Yeah, that's something that we always talk about, and I think it's absolutely critical. Those guys get a pretty good feel, and they got to go out early and test their footing and make sure they feel comfortable with it. And sometimes you do have to adjust your game, how you run routes, how you just maneuver on the field.